All right. So list building for outreach has absolutely changed forever, both on LinkedIn and through a cold email. And I think if you are still doing traditional outreach and trying to do all your list building yourself manually, I think you're going to be screwed. So you have to be using AI for this. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through like how to actually do it. I'm not going to show you how to do it. I'm just going to walk you through the principles and like where you need to use your own. A lot of these LLMs can actually handle the first part of it for you, and you can just pick the one that you like the most, and I'll give you some recommendations. But I'll walk you through the full process, and then you'll understand how you need to be thinking about your list building now as we move into this AI world. Because if you're, once again, if you're doing your manual list building with Apollo, Sales Navigator, just manually, you are going to be left behind, and it's just wasting a lot of your time. And you're working way too hard, and you're probably getting way worse results, okay? So list building with AI. And I think platforms and softwares like Clay are actually in trouble for this, because what I actually was using Clay for was just to company verify. I was never actually personalizing any message to that particular prospect. And the reason being, like the way we operate, like we really don't personalize any of our outreach. We actually just make very good lead magnets that relatively that segment is going to want. But now let's just go through the actual process. So essentially what it is, the old list building strategy. So the old list building, if we're doing like cold email, it was like you have your Apollo data, and like we would do keyword filters and then job titles, and then we would scrape. Oh, there we go. So we would actually just build the people list, the prospect list in just right away. And sometimes we would do different strategies where we would just upload domains of the companies. Now, when we would use Clay, so then we would pull this across, we would use Clay just to verify that those companies and those decision makers were like the actual people that we wanted to reach out to. Because a lot of these, like Apollo, for instance, they're not totally accurate with their keyword tools. They can get a little bit more granular now, and they are getting better. But now the new way, and I'll do a new way for LinkedIn here in a second. Essentially what we do first now is we actually use an AI to give us the list of companies, and then we upload that list. You can upload it both ways, to Sales Nav, and you can also upload it to Apollo. So now when you actually have the like AI has gone and personally found the companies that you want, and I'll go through the prompt and the LLMs that we use for when you have that list of companies, and then you upload it into Sales Nav and you upload it into Apollo. Now you know the companies are correct. You just need to focus on the job titles. So then after that, we just do our job titles, and then we scrape. That's it. You don't need Clay for this. You don't need to know how to do Clay tables for this. This is like very simple, very basic. The better your AI is, the more credits that you can spend here, the better. And so I'm gonna go through the prompt now that we use for our AI. So this is the new way. And then essentially the LLMs that you can use on this, I personally love to use, is it lagging? There we go. I thought it was lagging here for a second. I personally really like Manus for this, because it's a credit-based LLM. It's gonna be expensive, but it's way less expensive than all these list building softwares that you have out there. Now, once again, like to backtrack, we do really big deals. Most of our deal sizes are multiple 6 figures, 7 figures, and 8 figures plus for our clients. So we don't need to do a ton of outreach. We need to do like really high quality outreach. If you are like really just going after every single plumber in the entire country or something like that, maybe a list building tool still would help you, but you would be able to use like and really get super granular with Manus in a specific area, and then just segment out that areas and just do one area per day. A list building tool would still be able to cover like the entire United States much quicker. It's just going to cost you a ton of credits if you use Manus like right out of the gate. But for us, it makes total sense. It makes a lot of sense on this. So Manus, and we'll segment the batches to be like 100 to 300 companies. And we're not asking for job titles yet. We're just asking for the companies. And then I also have done this with ChatGPT, and it's been good. Grok is okay. Claude is pretty good. Manus was built on the Claude code or whatever, so that's awesome. But I really like Manus just based off of the fact that we use it a lot and I'm very comfortable with it. And then one of the things that you can also do for LinkedIn specifically, if your LinkedIn tool that you use to do outreach allows you to upload LinkedIn URLs, you can actually take Manus and have it go get personal LinkedIn URLs and then upload those just to your tool. Like, it's so quick now. And so you can constantly just set a task and schedule a task in Manus and say, hey, every day go and prospect new accounts. Give us 100 new ones that we haven't reached out to yet. That would be a good prompt. And then you can also do that in chat or Grok or Claude. And once you do that, it gives you 100. And then you take that 100, you can use it N8N, and you can just have it go upload that to your tool. And it's just constantly, you have your AI now constantly going out there finding new leads. And you also have it uploading to your tool where it's sending them the perfect messaging. You could upload your messaging to the AI so it knows who would be a good fit and who's not. And then you could also have your AI send back the messaging that you think you should send for each particular lead to send them custom messages. So that's essentially how the new list building strategy works. You got to be good. I would recommend that you get good with N8N. It's annoying. It's really annoying to have to learn, but it's very good with these workflows, with these LLMs, because you're going to need to learn HTTP requests, post requests, this, that, and the other. If you want us to just do it for you, we can obviously just do it for you. But this is how to list build and get them in the game pretty quickly. And you could use the same thing. This doesn't have to be LinkedIn outreach. Actually, yeah. I mean, if we're doing just the LinkedIn profiles. But you could also, I wouldn't have Manus go and find the company emails for each individual. Manus doesn't have that information. That's where you still want to use a list building tool like Apollo. So that's why when we're doing the email workflow, we just upload the companies to Apollo, and then we use the job filters in Apollo, and then we'll go through and then we'll scrape that. For Sales Nav, you can just like literally have it go and find the LinkedIn profile URLs that are perfect fits, upload those to your tool, and you're off and running. Now, the question is, what do you actually say to get them to respond? Our lead magnet strategy is morphed tremendously in the past, like maybe 2 weeks. We've gotten very good at getting all information to AI and having it do a ton of research. We're spending so much money on AI right now with credits and everything like that, but our personalized lead magnets are like second to none. They're very good. I recommend the thing that you need to use to get them to respond is a lead magnet. And if you're not able to use AI to create this, then you are falling behind. But anyways, this was just for the actual list building strategy today. So just so you guys know, just to recap, the old way, we would actually start, like if we're doing cold email, we would start in Apollo. We would build our list. We would use keywords. We would use AI to help us try and figure out what keywords we want to use. We would look at target companies. We get a target do not contact list from our client. And then we would look those companies up and their job titles up and figure out which job titles are the perfect fit, which ones are not. And then we would also go through and figure out which companies are a good fit, which ones are not. Then we would just scrape we'd put that whole thing together where we do the keywords to get the companies, and then we do the job titles, and then we would scrape that entire thing. And then we would run it through Clay, and we'd have Clay go and scrape the LinkedIn company account description from that. And then we would actually ask if it's verified based on the outreach messaging that we wanted to send. And then once that was, and the job title, and once we got a yeses, we just took all those yeses that were actually approved, and then we would send those in our cold email sequences. We never really did any personalization there. I know a lot of people use Clay for that. Personalization does not help you with outreach, I'm convinced. You have to have a better lead magnet than the next guy. And so then the new way of how we're doing that, and then for LinkedIn, we would actually go into Sales Navigator, build out our actual company account list. So we'd actually go in and manually enter the companies that we were going after, save them to a list, upload that list to our lead account page. So we would have that specific account list in there. And then we just put the job titles in for those companies that we wanted to go after. And then we would scrape that, and that would be what we found that goes into our actual LinkedIn outreach list. And then AI came along, and we've actually gotten so much better with this, and these LLMs are so good, and you can use Chat, Manus, Grok, whatever you really want to use. But essentially what you're going to be doing is you segment your batches, you do a little bit every single day. Once you get your prompt down, you can just schedule this out. And then if you're good with N8N, you could actually just create this entire workflow, and you don't even have to think about it. Manus is really good at this. Chat is probably even better. But you can actually, we like Manus just because it makes a lot of sense to us, but you can use whatever you're most comfortable with. I'm sure each one can do this. And then essentially what you're doing is you're prompting it, hey, go find 100 companies, find 300 companies that's a good fit for this messaging, and then exclude the companies that you've already sent me in this particular chat or task, whatever it is. And then it'll give you them. And then you can take those and ask for company domains, take those company domains, copy and paste them into Apollo, then use your job title filters there. In Apollo, the company name filters you would actually put are in the company name in Apollo. You just go down, it's include, exclude list of companies. You just put all the domains in the include section and exclude any companies that you've already scraped or you're worried you might have to scrape again. If you use your AI properly, you won't have. Once you put those in there, just mess with your job titles, scrape that list. That's going to be a very good list. and it'll be good the next day and the next day and the next day. If you get really good, you can use Task Magic or Claude Code to actually just do this for you. But I like to do it manually right now because we're still at the early stages of using AI in list building. And then from the LinkedIn side of things, you can actually just have your AI find the personal LinkedIn profile URLs for the perfect prospect at the perfect companies that you haven't targeted yet. So you don't even have to do any list building or anything like that. You can just have it go search and output the actual LinkedIn URLs. You upload that to your LinkedIn sending tool. If your LinkedIn sending tool doesn't do that, you should probably get a new tool. Ours does, and we're really good at that. Not that we use anything, wink. So then after you do that, upload those and you're good to go. So that it's a lot easier to actually target the right population, which I think is going to be great because you're not going to have as much spam going around and out there. So you're not going to need as many email domains. You're not going to need as many LinkedIn profiles. Now the name of the game is going to be how good can you make your lead magnet to stand out. And our lead magnets, we just pour literally our heart and soul into every single one that we do for us and our prospects. And I'm not going to do a new video on that because I don't want you guys taking our strategy. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and Ryan Ogren, MoneyMake Marketing.